See, that was live. That's assault or battery, one of the two.
Well, it's not salt. It's not pepper.
You do well, hon. You got a face for radio.
Definitely got the voice for radio.
Oh, yeah. Wolfman Jack. Shots fired.
You're listening to WKDW Radio 97.5 and KDWRadio.com. And we're broadcasting right here in Overcast, Northport, Florida. It's Friday, so let's take our time getting home. Let's have everyone have a great weekend and keep people out of the emergency rooms this evening. So be safe, be cognitive of everything that's going on around you, and make sure we get our loved ones and our neighbors home safe. And as always, safe is better than in the hospital in a trauma unit. So relax that extra 15 minutes. I did see somebody do an amazing lane switch, total of 7 lanes in less than 0.2 of a mile. Just remember that jerk is the reason why people die on the road. So let's keep that down to a minimum. So I've got 2 other very special guests in the house, Miss Elaine Emrich with Kiwanis and multiple other organizations. But I have her in the house, and I have Commissioner Pete Emrich. How you guys doing? And literally, I say in the house, it's in the villa. So we're filming this in my living room, believe it or not. And, you know, it's kind of cool to have a setup where we can come and gather and at least sit and have an open dialogue. I'm going to start with Pete here real quick because I know that there's like breaking news out there on the interwebs. Can you kind of give us a
No.
well, you've got at least some insight of some accusations being made.
Well, there's accusations out there, and I'm one of those people that, you know, I got to see what the facts are. And
Yep.
I'm not going to speculate. I'm not going to put an opinion. I just it's a tough scenario because it's right before the holidays, and I wouldn't want to see any family go through that.
No.
And but we got to find out what the allegations are and where they're going.
And that is with a current school board member, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So, you know, and other leadership positions. But like you said, though, you can't make a judgment until you actually get all the facts.
Right.
And nobody can really, because everything that's out there right now is really just an accusation at this point.
Yeah, I worked with Christian when he was on the Sarasota board, and he always had a heart for down here and tried to help us as much as possible through the board. So we sort of had a little, you know, not a bridge anymore, but we're lessening the gap. And he was somebody I could go to back then.
Yeah, and well, it always helps to build those bridges of communication too, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
As part of the leadership of Northport.
We campaigned at the same time, so
Right.
we got to know each other and everybody's wants and needs, and then he went on to future things. So,
Well, I was talking with Elaine this morning, and it's ironic that we're talking about waiting for facts, waiting for more information. I was telling her about the Michigan scandal and what's going to come their way, and I can't wait because that university for standing up for cheaters really deserves everything they're about to get. And if you don't know, I'm an Ohio State Buckeye, so I said to you this morning, it was amazing because I literally, when I took all that information in about that university, I don't know that I could have worn my jersey if I had known all that I knew. And yet the other team not only wore it, but they're wearing it. And now it's a badge of honor. And it's so disgraceful. It's not funny. But like I said, that's coming another way. But we did some really great work with the Buckeye organization. And it's something that we really don't gloat over. But we kind of doubled our efforts this year. We donated with Kiwanis Group last year and produced a check, which helped a lot of kids
absolutely.
Last year. And we did the same thing this year, only we worked with the Kiwanis. We worked with the Awakened Church and helped there. We also worked directly with Bert's Salute to America Foundation. We also, and that's with Bert's Harley Davidson, Black Widow. And we also worked with the Enforcers, and they were there collecting money. And can you talk about the connections that we've made with the Kiwanis group and how that directly affects the community?
So, after the hurricane hit last year, we had like 5 weeks to work with families to figure out what their needs were. And we do the Kiwanis Giving Tree. And so we got the names of kids and families in need, and it was overwhelming to the point of where we were giving toys out the day before Christmas because some of those families had just gotten a house to rent. And so last year, your guys' donation was very helpful because the needs just kept coming and coming. So we went ahead this year and redid the program to call it Kiwanis Christmas for kids. And we set up a tree at Perkins, and we have 250 kids that we're helping. And you guys came to us early enough and said, hey, what are the needs? And I said, go to the tree at Perkins, hold these tags, because that's what the kids want, and in some cases need. I think what happens is a parent realizes they have the $9 for the Barbie doll, but they don't have the $38 for the sneakers. And so by listing the items that the kids or families really need, it kind of gives them a real solid Christmas.
Right.
And that's what you guys did. You guys said, we care enough to want to give the kids exactly what they need or want for Christmas.
Well, not only that, but we've also been shopping for that stuff now too,
Yes.
which we've never done,
Which
by the
is
way.
so great that so we were at the Ohio game last Saturday, and we had a couple of your members walk up and say, hey, what else do you need? And we were like, okay, so Michigan State Bank, Michigan Credit Union.
Credit union. Yep.
Lake Michigan Credit Union.
Yep. Down on Kings Highway.
Kings Highway.
Yep.
That's one of our members, and Darlene has allowed us to have some storage space up at the top of the bank. And with that, that's where we're holding the toys that have come in. So your members are like, hey, if you need them sorted, Glen Allen needs them wrapped. And we were like, oh. So with one of your members coming up and saying, hey, I've got time, I'll do that. We were like, what a wonderful partnership that you guys have helped forge.
And that really was developed on within the last 2 weeks, because we really didn't have our goal was to raise money. And with you guys there, as not just receiving money and gifts for the kids, but also with the fact that you were there and you built these baskets.
Yeah.
and you were able to raise money there too, which that we'd never done anything like that.
Yeah.
And so and I'll bring this up again because Bert's Black Widow Harley Davidson had the Salute to America Foundation, and they did the penny challenge, and there was money in both jugs on both teams, and I know that we donated an additional $250 to them, which we had never done. So there were multiple firsts from this group that I still kind of can't believe it's 19 years in doing it. And I responded to a message today on Facebook that when we started this 19 years ago, I didn't know that it was going to affect so many people. Not only was Ohio State fans present, but Michigan fans were present too, and everything was good. I'm so proud of the outcome of the event, because it could have been, even though we lost, it could have been so much worse.
I had 2 things. I shout out to Barbara Jordan, and she's the one that made the basket, and Kevin Mullen. I mean, now think about this. You're in Florida and you're looking for Ohio and Michigan products. The basket was like really, really big, and the other basket was big. and you got us a table, right?
Yep.
And so one of the Michigan players, fans, walks up and he goes, I can't buy tickets from you. And I was like, what's wrong? And he's like, the baskets are touching. Like he moves them and then hands me a 20.
Well,
So,
we
I mean, that's-
kind of feel the same way, seeing as they're attached to our state. I've often said that I don't know why we don't start the border right in Ohio, because they feel more foreign than anything to us, and quite frankly, they feel the same way. So they're the disconnect part of Canada to us.
Wow,
Yeah,
this is deep.
it is. It's the holy grail.
Well, that's why
of information.
we did 2 baskets.
Yes,
And
yeah.
I will say there wasn't as many tickets in Michigan, but
we got a good idea for next year. Now we're going to commingle the best
Oh my God.
and get everything.
Well,
touching.
the funny thing is we have house divided flags for people that are out there,
yes,
and so there are situations like that, and I should pull data on that because I believe that the marriage, I think there's like a 1.5 year expectancy of divorce rate right there, just because of that. Now, all my friends that are out there that are house divided right now, they've been married a lot longer, but they would back me up too, because they're the special ones.
so for your data collection,
Yeah.
what really did happen is there would be an Ohio State person that would walk up and then secretly put 2 in the basket for Michigan and say, this is for my son. So if he wins, I'm going to mail it to him.
Right. Well, and we have that a lot. But you've kind of, what's kind of cool is I have the dagger side of hating that team from up north, and you have the side of we're here at a fundraiser. This is kind of cool, but now you're experiencing it all from a whole bunch of different angles.
Absolutely.
And no matter what though, did you have fun?
Yes, it was myself, Shelly, and Donna. And so I have to say this to you. We don't do a lot of fundraisers in Northport because Northport is still reeling from the hurricane.
Right.
And prior to that, from COVID. I feel like Northport always is the hardest hit. And so for us to be able to join in with you guys and try to do our part in doing the fundraiser, and then you guys coming along and just like holding us was truly amazing. And yeah, we had a great time, and it was so smooth. Like you are really the epitome of how to do a smooth fundraiser. And it also allowed us to talk to Perry about doing our own. And I think we're going to hijack. So I love to use that word because why reinvent the wheel? We would like to do a quarter auction and then a cornhole tournament. So the women can do the auction and the men can be back here. And that's what you guys did.
Well, and it's amazing because truthfully, I'll just give an overview of that event because it wasn't just a football game. It truly wasn't. It was a tailgating party from 8 o'clock in the morning until noon, and then it became the game. We did a cornhole tournament last year. We also did the all-you-could-eat breakfast last year. So we had 108 last year for breakfast. We had over 220 this year for breakfast, and the game, of course. And then the cornhole tournament, we had 18 last year. We had 56 entries this year. 36 were prepaid. 20 paid at the gate between 8 and 8:30. And Danielle did an amazing job getting that organized and getting that tournament started and over by 11:30. So 56 players done by 11:30. And she is amazing. She did a great job. I had so much help, and you give me credit. It's in my head, and a lot of them don't like it that all that information is in my head. But I don't hide it on purpose. I hide it because if you have too many chiefs, all the ideas within that last couple of days they just get thrown to the dogs. And I truly have a vision on how I want it to flow, and was really good, but we're making tweaks on it again this year. Already we're sitting down and we're 300 officially today, we're 365 days
Right.
that we have to eat crow, by the way,
Ah,
with this
can't get
loss,
lost.
but
Ah.
they're coming to our house next year. I'm guaranteeing Ohio State's
But
win
John,
this year right
you
now.
know, you're used to it. Just add a little salt to it. and
Yeah,
then
no,
it's fine.
here's what's really cool. The victories that we felt for years, they've had to deal with the losses. They're feeling the victories now 3 years in a row. We just came off of a 9-year run of victories over them.
Better buy a big jar of salt.
I know. So they're paying us back for 9 years, but the beauty is the combination of everybody that was there is why the event went so well. And the fundraising side of it was amazing because there's something to be said about bringing people together that don't necessarily have like-minded teams.
Right. Teams. Right.
And so it goes to show that you can, one, bring people together. And there were some rebel rousers there. And by the time an hour and a half went past after the end of the game, I had a couple of them come over and go, you know what, we were doing that all in jest. And it was a great time. And I said, well, congratulations on your win. I don't really have a bad feeling about anyone who came and supported their team. Everything I was talking about is really condoning the behavior of the coach and his staff. And they fired 6 coaches. So there's stop walking around like there's nothing going on. There's something major happening there when you're even your president doesn't say you didn't do it, but they're covering up until the end of the year. So we'll see how it comes in 24. But the beauty is, I think we're going to do bigger and better things in 24 as far as the working relationship with Twisted Fork. It's amazing. The working relationship with Birch Harley Davidson in Port Charlotte and his fundraiser, that was amazing. Working with you guys and what you're doing, that's amazing. When you just start attaching all the amazing things that happen within one Saturday. Now ours goes on for the year, and we collect money through 50-50 drawings and prizes, and then donations along the way. But we also do the food drive back to Awaken Church.
Which I was going to say, Awaken doing their toy drive also helps us because that's fewer kids that we will take on.
Well,
there's no double dipping.
No. But talk about that combination because all these things that we're doing, we're trying to give, and it's just giving back to the community. Because truthfully, 19 years ago, this was not anything that I had in my head. I saw 40 to 60 people getting together, then 100 people getting together. I never envisioned 750 plus coming to one event. Didn't have that plan.
So take that 750 and think about this. That's what Awaken is giving food to in one session.
Right.
So over 4 hours, they're getting the food from all faiths. They're getting the extras from you guys.
Absolutely.
And then they've got people going through that line. And I really, truly can tell you once again, it's very much like coming out of COVID was tough for them, and then the hurricane, and then they like us, they mirror us so much. They're the families from Ukraine who came over as refugees. So this is nonstop when you talk about Northport being so unique and what the prolonged needs are.
Right.
So it is so important to get these partnerships because like Awaken came to us and said, hey, we know 2 things. We know that your children's closet was destroyed and you don't, like we're outside now in the parking lot.
Doing the trailer thing.
Yeah, well, we're doing the trailer thing until April.
Trailer became no more.
Yeah, so then, and then we lose our building in April. So
it's being demolished as part of that area.
Not cool. So
Sorry.
they came to us and said, hey, be a part of our every Saturday once a month drive where they're feeding people. Then we're giving them the household supplies, the clothing for all different sizes, free socks, and then people are getting haircuts and hearing tests and stuff. So it's wonderful because you guys you're infusing that food throughout your football season.
Sure.
So, that's fantastic. And then we're coming along with clothing, and Larry, Angela, and their team are
They're doing a great job.
And one of the coolest things is they have the showers from Jesus Loves You Ministry. So, the homeless, they can jump in, take a shower, and that go into their weekend good. One of the things we just learned that, because we do community needs assessments, which I think makes us a little different from lots of other nonprofits, because as Kiwanians, you have to learn what does the community need. So you shift with what it needs. The homeless need detergent. They need the ability to clean their clothes, especially if they have a job, but no, place to live.
Right.
And so, that we may shift into that next year.
Well, no, go back there for a second, because the relationships and both organizations, all the organizations, because nonprofit organizations are not independent. They don't work independent. They overlap. They communicate. They join ventures together. Because you're trying to stretch every resource you can to its maximum potential. And it's crazy because it's not a reflection of our group in totality, but we didn't know what we could do. So we're watching football, and the first thing that happens is we're donating money that we collected. We 19 years, never made money off of this. I always lose money doing it. And so does Dave Cater. And, we're always donating forward and paying ahead and doing certain things. And, whether it's a hurricane or we were making those adjustments. We're not a nonprofit organization. We're a group of people who get together and watch Ohio State football and take all the beating when we lose. And yet we still pay it forward and look forward to giving more. And that has to be what nonprofit organizations do too. And I know that because I've been part of that run. I've been part of all these things that we're talking about. We're talking about football.
Right.
We're not talking about an organization who meets once a week or once a month. We meet once a week during football season, and then an occasional breakfast get together and yell some cheers and give a storytelling time for me to give an update on what we're going to do for the next year. And that's not what a nonprofit does. You guys work relentlessly all year long, but then you partner. And what's it like to get an organization like ours, but any organization that's new that gets the gift of being able to give and let you do more? What is that? What's that do for Kiwanis?
So we had a grandmother who was going to be trespassed from Walmart because she was sleeping on a dog bed with her grandson. And so the other nonprofit that which is When All Else Fails, was given the phone call, because in community policing in Northport, does that grandmother really deserve to be put in jail? And her grandson that she's raising, does he belong in the foster care system over not having a house because it was destroyed in Ian? So you take, When All Else Fails goes ahead and helps with the housing component, but then they turned it over to Kiwanis and said, hey, the little boy needs underwear. Grandma needs hygiene products. they need clothing. And to be able to give them those things takes resources from our club. Okay, so if we're doing that, like we're buying the socks, we're buying the Bombas socks. So that takes the money away. But now we have Christmas. And so you guys come along and you help us with that. And so like you would be amazed because we're a group of 23 with 11 really active members. None of us are paid.
Right.
And so when the emails come through at 2:00 in the morning, you get about as much time as, members can give when they're not working and stuff. So the fact that you guys stepped in and helped last year and the year before, it just, first of all, it reduces the amount of stress because, okay, we got the bicycle, right? We didn't get the helmet. A kid will get a citation for real. Our kid got one without having a helmet on. It's real. So you're not giving the completeness if you're just donating the bicycle. We need both. And they're not always donated. And so that's where you guys come in. You're filling the gap.
Well, any organization could do this. Any other organization, they really could.
Well, see, the thing is, and this is what...
Because first off, it doesn't matter, and I say this because I truthfully never envisioned this. It started with 6 people in 2004 for one football game and has built over time. But it wouldn't have mattered what size of donation, it's still impactful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that I wanted to bring that up because no matter how many people are donating, if it's 5 people in your neighborhood that donate 2 bikes, and 2 helmets, that's more than a lot of people are doing right now.
Let me tell you something that we are going to do that you guys likely have helped us with but don't know. So we are doing a happy unbirthday for children in the foster care system from right about Manatee County down to probably Cape Coral. And the reason you do the region is because there are Northport kids who have been placed in Manatee or Cape Coral. Right?
Okay.
So what we do is we get with the different agencies and Child Protective Services, and we say, send us your foster care kids for the day. The Boys and Girls Club in Northport has opened their hearts this year to give us their gymnasium and their outdoor play area on St. Patty's Day. And what we're doing is we're bringing in kids to have a happy birthday party for them.
Right.
The most horrific statistic we learned is that kids are often taken within a week or their birthday month from the family. I just learned from Valerie's house that these kids are going into foster care because their parents are dying of fentanyl overdoses. It's not anything new, but it is literally hit our region to the point of where she went to the state legislators and said, enough,
right.
Help, help, help. So, and we'll work with them, of course, too. And we just throw this party for the kids and the caregivers and grandparents raising their grandchildren. And we're going to do a theme with Alice in Wonderland and pirates.
Okay.
We're hoping the pirates will really come to us because they've been awesome out of Tampa. And we're just going to celebrate kids. So every child is going to get a gift of some sort.
Fantastic.
So, if we have anything left over from your guys' donation, boom, it's going right into that foster care birthday.
Fantastic. And I know that what they're working on is which is crazy too. She's actually working on buying more toys at a discount.
Yes.
To stretch the dollars.
Amen.
And it's like, it's kind of crazy how this is turned into it. And we kind of need to have a Buckeye Army next year of
Ooh,
people.
a Buckeye Army.
Yeah, people who really want to help her shop and possibly do more that way. And you don't have to be a Buckeye. You can be that team up north in your god awful colors. But we take all the help because it truly, the essence of giving back has really kind of infused our group. And even the new people, it was actually a new person who had been last year and this year to this one event. And it's always on the Team Up North Day. So next November 30th, we have our next game against that Team Up North. And I really can't wait. I've said their name a couple times, and every time my teeth are getting loose just by saying that state.
You're hilarious. See, I'm a Vikings fan, so
Yes.
when I talk about the Slackers, I do the same.
Yes. So I'm really having like I everything about me is shaking violently inside every time I say that godforsaken team. But we do like their fans coming. We do want them there. The rivalry game over the years has always been something that I've wanted to have Michigan fans at. And I just said that horrible word again. But having the camaraderie, and like I said, we went through 9 years of and more of winning. I'm not going to gloat. They're acting like 3 is big. It's not. 9 is huge. They're going to lose next year, but I guarantee it right now. Boom, we are going to dominate them next year, and I know that through my heart of hearts. But you know what we're going to do is we're going to do more as a unit collectively together. And I actually talked to several of their fans last year who were back this year. Ironically, not as many. So I'm hoping what they've done is what they learned last year, which is go start your own organization. They were going to try to do that. That is the beauty of what you said, even, is when you go to a fundraiser and you see things. What was it that you called it that you're not borrowing, but no, you're gonna take it. Hijacking.
I did say
you're gonna hijacking ideas, but that when you find things that work really well and they make money and it's enjoyable for people who participate. That's the biggest thing is, can you do it collectively with that word enjoyment in there so that people have a good time?
Well, and let me tell you, so the word hijack is important in the context because of this.
Yeah.
During COVID, the kids at Northport High, the class of 2020, was told, no, you can't graduate in a traditional way. And I ignored it for like 2 weeks. And then I went to Justin Willis and I said, now mind you, he's at his son's birthday party. And I said, we're going to do graduation. And he said, yeah, it's been canceled. And I said, okay, so we're going to do graduation. And he looked at me and said, okay, so let me finish my son's party and I will call you. So it was 17 days. We had till July 17th to plan a graduation that, mind you, 8,000 people could not attend at the Cool Today Park, which made no sense to me. How does a school district say that they can't socially distance you in the Braves Stadium? That's where they were going to have graduation. So when we went to the school, it was kind of like, no, you can't be on our property. So the kids told us they grew up on City Center Green. They went to, different events there, and they liked that. And so I was told by the city, we have to socially distance husbands from wives, even though they drove together in the car and sleep in the same bed. They were not allowed to be in the outside sitting next to one another. And I remember I took the planning document and I went like this, and I went like this, and I went, so we'll distance them this way. We'll put the stage on the street, but we're gonna have this. You don't tell kids that they can't graduate. We will hijack their graduation. And
WKDW was there. We did the broadcasting and the filming.
That's right. And with a phone call, with $22,000 raised in 2 weeks, and every partnership that could ever be forged happened that day. And it's one of the best days that I've seen in a decade, because the kids of Northport had the opportunity. And I will tell you, there was one student there. I don't know him, but all I know is I was reading my text messages, like in between the 3 ceremonies that we had to have.
Right.
And one of the bosses said, get a photo of this child. He is autistic, didn't speak till he was 8 years old, and earned a 4.0 grade point average. So I remember that day yelling, where's, Brad Johnson? And I look to my left and I look to my right, and he stands up and he waves his hand, and I'm like, this young man is a stellar student. He's got a 4.0, and everybody clapped for him. And he walked
without that
across,
event, that would have never happened.
That's what I'm saying. He walked across that stage, and his parents afterwards said, all we wanted was for him to be recognized in whatever fashion. The photograph they were going to get from the school was their family with the principal superimposed. And I'm so happy that that wasn't what they got that day. They got a real ceremony. And that's a partnership that will just always be in my heart.
Well, the data now is actually proving out that the setback for the kids during the COVID year, it's massive. It's a massive setback. And I don't care whether it's preschool kids all the way through high school into college, the setback, and most of them, believe it or not, are in denial because they sat out and they were okay with no school for a year. Okay.
Right.
Okay. But now you're behind.
Reading scores.
Everything has an issue. We started this out with talking football and the relationships there, but even you take what we're talking about, those are college athletes. And if you go and look at the COVID year, how that has affected an athlete in college, but it's done it a couple different ways. If you start looking at some of these programs that have 25-year-old kids, 7-year seniors, 7 year playing football. And it's like, well, they got an additional year because of COVID. So there's when you start adding these things up, there's a cause and effect to all of that stuff. And if we didn't do anything, and if a lot of other organizations didn't do any of those things, those moments that we all remember, there's a lot of students that went without those moments.
I got to tell you a great story.
Right.
I got an email that said, I'm an Imagine school teacher and I need dictionaries. And I thought I was being punked because the Rotary does dictionaries, right? And I always was kind of like, after years and years, I'm like, why does the Rotary still do dictionaries when you have this handy dandy, right? But this was no joke. This woman is a social studies teacher, and she believes kids should be able to use a dictionary and should know how, not only language, but where words are and what they mean and how to pronounce them. So we went on this drive to find them dictionaries, and she came to our meeting and we gave her a box full of them, and she can use more, which is incredible that in 2023, and she's now teaching these kids cursive so they can sign their names.
Yeah, they're not doing that at a lot of schools.
And I'm so proud that there's a school now. Very sadly, do you know that even the dictionary was banned from Sarasota County schools? It had to be reintroduced.
Okay.
Because all the books were banned, and now you have to slowly.
Oh, well, yeah. And I know why they did that. I
That comes
understand.
from the guy from the Rotary.
All right, so let me add something. You brought up COVID and stuff, and I know Elaine doesn't toot her horn too much, but the community knows that if they need something or they want something, they go ask Elaine, and she's got all the different connections in the nonprofits, hers and everything. But during COVID, there wasn't going to be any graduations, and it's all about the kids.
And that's what we're talking about.
Okay, I didn't know
Yeah.
if you mentioned
And
that
the
or not.
prom, we did the prom.
And the prom, and it was awesome. But what else I was going to bring up is we talked about it a little bit earlier about you getting displaced in like April. So we're trying to put feelers out there. I may have a permanent home in the works in about a year out. But come April, we're going to need some storage space. They're going to need storage space. So if there's anybody out there that knows of any areas, because here's the deal. Yeah, we can go get a storage unit. That's a simple fix. But why are you going to pay $800 a month when you're giving the stuff away for free? That's $800 that you can give to another family or this, that, and the other. And it just becomes a turmoil. They want to be able to give to the community. The children's closet, I remember we got a call, I think it was 8 o'clock on a Sunday night, and this family, their house burnt down and they had nothing. And they were in tears. We immediately went over there and got them everything that they needed. I think it was a husband and wife and 3 young children, maybe 2 or 3. They had a couple kids and they had nothing. Well, at least they got clothes, and Elaine set her up with other, agencies to go ahead and check it out. But she's in it to win it, man. But she's been doing it for 30 years.
That is that partnership, though, that we were talking about, the crossover and the relationship building and the importance of all those things. And the Buckeyes that are listening, that is why we're doing the things that we do. And the team up north, the Michigan fans, when you show up to that event, that is where your money that you're buying tickets for. And it's ironic that we do things with a football game, but we very rarely get to see the end result or hear the end result, because we're not an organization. We watch football. There isn't an hour that I could bring you in and let you Q&A and do all this stuff. So we have a show like this. We're going to do an article about it. And it's there has to be a reason for people to want to give. And what we have, they want to give. They want to give to Kiwanis. There's other organizations that they want to give to, the Awakened Church and all that they do. And there's tons of the Rotary you've brought in. Bert's salute to veterans and first responders
in unison.
Yeah,
everybody's needs get met for the most part.
They do, or better than it could if you had nothing.
Right. If you're one individual unit and you're going out there and we want to raise money for this, that's all you're doing.
Right.
But getting together, they're helping many people.
It's a great coalition. And I know that even with Awaken and their food drive, they're not doing it independently. They have so many contributors.
And I gotta tell you, this is really sad. Awaken and many other food pantries in Sarasota County are going to get hit with new fees that have never existed before, because coming off of COVID and coming off of Hurricane Ian, All Faiths Food Bank is going to start charging. So I just learned Helping Hand in Englewood has budgeted $60,000 towards food that they have to purchase. So think about that. If that's Englewood, Northport Awaken is about to get hit with probably 70,000.
Well, and here's the thing with everything that they do collectively. It's even and I'll just say this across the board, because I could take our group and make the example. I just did, literally just did, and we're not an organization. We're people giving every game. We're not a nonprofit. Everything that we're talking about, though, is a nonprofit.
Sure.
And all these fees that are coming, it just didn't happen. because Awaken has had to have police because there was
Yeah.
such a need that they're having to pay for the police to control traffic to make sure businesses are not affected,
Right.
but people are getting what they need.
And to me only, I believe that should be where the city partners with them. It shouldn't be $55 an hour for an off-duty officer. It should be, we understand that there are 700 people that come through that line. So if Awaken is doing its part in
Providing a
Providing
service
the-
to the community.
right, so that would be my nonprofit.
Well, if people
rate.
wanted to give to Kiwanis and help with a lot of these things, how would they contact you?
So we are on Facebook, Kiwanis Club of Northport, and we have Kiwanis Club of Northport on .com. So we have an active both places you can donate to, and we actually finally figured out the donate button, but right now, like I said, we're the Perkins, we have about 15 tags left, and again, some of your money will end up helping us if a tag went out, but it didn't come back.
Right.
And so that's something we need right now.
So Perkins is a location they can go to pull a tag
Yeah.
and buy toys on the list and take care of a kid.
Yes.
And then they just bring the toys back to Perkins.
Perkins has been grabbing them for us so that they don't go away.
Yep.
And then giving them to us. We get them to the bank, they'll get sorted, and then they'll be delivered to the schools. Because we work directly with the schools
to
this
take
year
care of
for
it.
the specific needs. And I will say this, I have to shout out to the Buffalo Bills backers.
I was just gonna do that.
Stole your
Because-
thunder.
Because they too.
They do a great job.
They came to one of our pop-ups and they said, holy cow, you're helping. Then they came to our fishing tournament the day before Father's Day, and they brought 2 bikes to give as a raffle prize for the kids. Again, to keep it free and fun for families.
Right.
And they've they've adopted us the way you guys have. And they said they're not as big as you guys, but they too outgrew their location in Northport, and they're at Burt's as well.
Yeah, they are.
And
But
so,
it's funny
it's
because
neat.
I was gonna say in full transparency, she's gone from college football to the NFL.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to find
You're-
some Vikings.
You're not
to
the
help.
only game in town. We must go to 2 games a year.
Yeah, Wait, what?
But you guys were stellar.
Yes, it was an awesome day. It really was.
Well, I appreciate it. I there's a lot of team effort
Yes.
that goes into that. You know, we had Danielle, like I said, doing the cornhole tournament and keeping that smooth. We had Jason Z
Yeah, sound
DJ
everything.
and
DJ.
doing
Oh,
his
yeah,
thing.
you did great.
Yeah,
It
and,
was
and
good.
keeping the flow going. Bert's had their stuff going. And really, you're talking about a motorcycle club that was there in the Enforcers that 2 years in a row, back to back. And I kind of want to highlight this for a second because motorcycle clubs get a bad rap, and what everyday Joe citizen needs to understand is that the Enforcers are first responders,
Yeah,
retired
first responders,
first responders.
yeah. I believe they do veterans and
Yeah,
first responders.
They do, and to me, within what you're talking about, they give back. It's traditional give back, and most motorcycle clubs are designed that way.
Right.
You're part of a motorcycle club,
Yeah,
but-
and you need to give me a couple seconds.
Go ahead.
because
Go ahead.
Patriots MC it's veterans and then first responders
Right.
and everything. We just did our gun raffle, which was it was the Saturday of the game, wasn't it? Or the
Saturday before.
Saturday before it. But we were able to send out the first time we sent out 50, and this last time we sent out about 60 veterans with PTSD or first responders out on a fishing trip. This time we had a little bit more squared away. They went out of Indian Mountain Park and fished the intercoastal. We had a barbecue for them and prizes and everything. And that we raised the money to help sponsor that. And This time, one of Elaine's groups decided, hey, we want to help too, which was Holly's Hope. And they donated $2,500 towards the effort. We donated some money. We take care of a lot of the things. But that's what we do. We raise our money to give back to veterans, and it's local. All of our money stays local.
What I find is cool though is, we were one at Beef O'Brady's in Northport, and we did some special things there. We were at Wings and Rings at Toledo Blade and Price in Northport with our group, and we did special things there too. What the collective at Burt's Harley Davidson and Twisted Fork has done is it's unbelievable. We've embedded into so many different organizations.
Us, like any Friday, Saturday, anytime really, but we go Friday, Saturday when there's bands to sell our tickets to go ahead and raise money to pay for this stuff.
But
he's like, here, Bert even bought $100 worth of tickets in the last day. He goes, I need some of those tickets. That's like, thank you.
Well, and here's what's cool though, is even the football fans have bought tickets.
Absolutely.
And I say this for a reason, is if people are on site at Harley Davidson, at Twisted Fork, don't be scared to talk to them. Don't be scared if they're doing a fundraiser. Take the fear out of the moment and realize that and I'm going to say this to football fans and Buckeyes and Michigan fans that show up, is don't be timid to find out what's going on. I embrace the fundraisers that are going on that really are not even connected.
You had mentioned the enforcers. I think they were just down there this last weekend raising money for Shop with the Cops.
Yeah, they were there. And that's their second year. The first year, no one told us they were coming. The last year, and what was amazing about that is I pulled them up on stage. That was kind of my goal. We had some things happen this year. Wasn't able to stay in the flow of the event as much as I wanted to, but I had mentioned them 4 or 5 times every time I was on the mic, along with Bert's A Salute to America Foundation, and then your table. We'd never had that. I mean, we literally took a football game and during the game had several fundraisers that were non-connected to the football side of it that went independently and made money. And your organization, just from the baskets, do you want to say how much you raised from that?
Yeah, we raised about $1,000, which again for us is so difficult to raise. So that was amazing. And you guys have already shopped for us, so that's great. We are so much better this year with being able to clearly and concisely help these families.
That's fantastic.
And I will tell you, Shop with a Cop is next week for Charlotte County.
I think it's all week long too, every night.
Yeah, but that's in Charlotte. So that money that people gave a week ago literally has gone to the different
taking care of kids.
Yeah. So it's cool.
And it's funny how I still get chills, and we've only got really a couple of minutes left, but all mocking aside of motorcycle clubs can mock and tease each other and do their thing. Football fans, Bills and Bills backers, they do the same thing. Vikings fans, they get in there.
You can't find a Viking group.
Well, yeah, but we don't want any more Vikings down here. The purple Peter eaters, right? People eaters. I said that wrong. I think I said that right because I'm a Brown. But see, I'm also a Cowboy, so I'm on the losing. Listen, I've been on the losing side of things for a long time, so it's crazy how it works out. But what's cool is watching everybody come together for the cause.
Yeah. Well, I've got to tell you something real quick.
Real quick.
So with the Kiwanis, we're 52 years old. But one of the things that is totally ironic is that Sam Shapos and Gene Matthews and Rue Berryman, all former Kiwanians. We, for 30 years, were on Sam Shapos' way, giving away clothing. And he was the spiritual Ames person for Kiwanis back in the 70s. So it's, keeping people's legacies alive is pretty great.
And if you have a location where they can store goods and help them out, if you don't know how to get a hold of Kiwanis, call me at 941-391-4663. If you have any needs or you have anything you want to donate, 941-391-4663. Call me on my cell. Even if you're from that godforsaken team up north, Michigan. And my customers know I love them anyway. But come and help us make our community better and the communities around us better. So thanks a lot for being part of the show.
Much. This was awesome.
You're welcome. You guys have a blessed day. Be home safe, and we'll see you on Monday. Talk to you soon.